Just an unboxing today. If you follow my videos, you probably picked up that I'd made some recent purchases at Marti Modena over in Marti Modena. I don't know what it's called. An Italian sort of brand retailer who specialise and carry some incredible deals on Delta pens. I think they carry certain versions which you can't get elsewhere, which I will be reviewing today. I think these are exclusive to Marti Modena. Nonetheless, I made several purchases, one through their auctions. Again, please check them out. The deals that you can get through their auctions are absolutely stunning. So I picked up two pens, one being the Dolce Vita Federico Stefano, I think is what it's called, which is a piston filler, and we'll do a review of that shortly. And the other being the Galleria Nouveau New Gallery, which will be the focus of today's video. They're good enough to include a couple of pen cases with the package, so I've got a two pen case and a single pen slip there. We'll probably do a little look at those in a subsequent video. But let's get on to the pen in question, which is the Galleria, the Nouveau Galleria. So as you see, it comes in a nice sizable box. The packaging, I'll tell you now, really does give a sense of occasion. It makes it feel like it's a very high quality pen, and indeed it is, but it really gives that sense of I've made the right decision, I've spent my money wisely. So the slip comes off and you've got a plain box within. In that you've got probably one of the most interesting display mechanisms. Oh, saw myself, don't like that. Interesting display mechanisms that I've seen in a long time. Basically, it's two halves to this. One half being a little bit of cardboard to hold a small bottle of ink. I think this one's blue. Don't know what the contents are. Who makes this ink, whether it's actually Delta themselves or whether it's outsourced from somewhere. I'll be interested if anyone knows who actually makes Delta blue. So there's that, and then there's the actual pen case itself. Below it is obviously the documentation. So you've got a little card here, which initially I thought was a warranty, but in fact it qualifies this as 100% Italian made. So that's interesting that they've got that in there. They've got a very general document which goes through all the filling mechanisms for their pens, and some words which again describes the warranty. So it's a lifetime warranty against defective parts. Pretty good, I guess. Hopefully there won't be any issues. And then there's a little leaflet about fusion nibs, which indeed this pen has got a fusion nib. Now we'll look at the pen itself in a second, but you'll see that the fusion nib is a steel nib with a gold overlay on it. We'll get onto that in a minute, I'll leave that out. So onto the pen holder case itself. As I say, very impressive. You've got little screws which come out to release the pen. The screws themselves, if I can get that in focus, are branded up with Delta logo, which is really impressive. And the pen is pinched in with a nice soft case there. Move that to one side, and there we have the pen. So the first impressions of the pen, I haven't inked this up yet. Obviously it is a sizable pen. This is sort of got the same sort of feel as a large pen like a 149. It's got a very chunky section there. It's probably one of the largest pens I've ever owned. In my daily writer, as I say, you've probably picked up in other videos, is a Lamy 2000, so let's just compare them side by side. If you think about where you're going to hold it, it's considerably thicker. I'm not sure how that's going to be for day-to-day use, but very keen to find out. Equally, my other recent daily user is a TWSBI Eco. Again, quite a significant size differential. Okay, so running over the pen itself, the material is a sort of a resin, a marbled resin. It's got a very warm feel to it. It's got a sort of good heft. It feels like a quality pen. It's got a gold trim, or a gold coloured trim, which looks really nice. I don't particularly like their tech and web branding. I don't quite understand what that means. I think that will be dated. It'll feel dated in a few years because it makes reference to the web. I don't know, seems odd. But the clip I really like. I don't use clips, but this one looks cool. It's got a little roller on it. Very nice. Looking at the hardware, you've got the same hardware repeated at here, at the other end where the blind cap is, and the blind cap comes off very smoothly. It's just threaded into the resin there to reveal what is the end of a captive filler. So it's not a piston filler, it's just the cartridge converter. On the trim, it brings me to the only fit and finish issue that I've picked up on this pen. Generally the fit and finish of this pen is absolutely excellent. I've not seen anything to fault, but the finial, the end piece here, does stand slightly proud. You can almost see it's got sort of a folded pin on either side to push it into the cap there, and it does just stand slightly proud, just slightly. But back onto the pen. As I say, the filling system is a cartridge converter. Initially I thought it was only accessible through the blind cap, but if you undo this, which is almost a seamless joint, there you are, there's the captive cartridge converter, and it's a fairly standard unit, it seems. But one thing which surprised me, which I haven't come across yet before, is I was trying to pull it out, and actually it's got a nice screw fit. We'll get on to the Fusion nib, which I think is probably one of the most notable things about this particular pen, and probably one of the main discussion points for Delta altogether. Now I think probably what we'll do first of all is we'll read what they say in their leaflet. They've got a whole leaflet about the Fusion system, and most of it is in various languages, but the last bit here. Okay, so there's a lot of words. I think the critical bit here is here. Fusion is a new nib developed by Delta. It consists of a combination of different materials, so that's the gold and steel overlaid, or rather the gold overlaid on steel, that make the fountain pen even more functional, enhancing the physical chemical properties of the ink with an assembly system adapted to increase the efficiency of the pen itself. Hence the fountain pen is more precious and at the same time less expensive. Then it goes on to describe what they actually mean by that, and it's really all about the heat differential between the gold and the steel. The higher temperature makes the ink flow smoothly. At the same time, the nib has the characteristics and strength and durability for long writing sessions because of the steel sort of underlying nib. I think there's a lot of debate on fountain pen forums, if you care to look, about whether those claims are are true, whether they're based on real science. I'm not sure. I personally would have thought, without actually having used it yet, I personally would have thought that the heat differential disappears almost immediately once the whole pen, barrel, nib, feed gets to room temperature or hand temperature. What is clear though is that steel nibs can be exceptional. Certainly the steel nib that I've got on a Faber-Castell Emotion is a brilliant nib. And I think that this has been a well-tuned unit, and I think it's probably one of Delta's best steel nibs. I don't know whether the science is going to work, but there's only really one way to find out. So I think what we need to do is get this inked up, and I'll get it into rotation and let you know how it goes. Now I'm going to ink it up with what's going to become my test ink, which is the Ackerman's Royal Blue, just because it's plentiful, well behaved, and comes in a very attractive bottle. If you haven't seen these before, very clever filling system. Ink reservoir down here, or main ink storage down here, and there's a little reservoir up here with a captive glass marble there. So even when you're low down here, you can fill the top bit and get an easy, substantial fill on your pen. Let's undo that. Get this filled. So I'll wind out the piston and get that in there. I've already prepped this by giving it a little bit of a rinse through with mild soapy warm water. Back it off, a couple of drips, a little bit of paper. Right. So that's inked up. I'll put that into rotation and we will come back and have a full review in a month or so's time. Okay, I hope that's useful. Please do check out Marty Medina's web pages. If you're interested in Delta pens, it's probably the best place in the world to buy them. There's some great deals there. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.